right, here he is, the legendary Jack Russell. Jack, good morning.
Good morning. Oh, legendary, huh? That just means I'm old.
I'm glad we could make this work. It was supposed to happen a couple of weeks ago, and we unfortunately had to reschedule, but we're here now. And you're in Denver now, right? You've been there the last few years or so.
Yeah, I've been here the last few years. It's different than LA, but I tell you, I needed it. I was born and raised in LA, so things just started getting too uptight there, and it was time for a change.
It's interesting.
LA has just gotten too.
Well, it seems like a lot more and more LA guys are moving out of there and pretty quickly over the last few years. What do you think the reason is for that?
Well, it's too expensive. The politics. LA is just a mess. I mean, it's just a mess. There's nothing redeeming, I don't think, about it. I mean, sure, yeah, you got some great weather, but it's just, I don't know. It doesn't make up for the bad parts of it. It's like there's so much bad things about it that the weather doesn't make up for it.
Sure. Well, and this is where you're living now. This is the first house you've been in for a long time, right? Because you were living in a boat for like the last 12 years or something.
Yeah, the last 12 years I was on a boat. Yeah.
Wow. Is it?
Yeah, it's been.
Is it weird going back to a normal, like a house?
No, actually, it's nice. It's really it's nice to go back and feel normal.
Sure.
I mean, living on a boat it's great, but when you get older, it's harder. You know what I mean? There's just so much upkeep in it. There's so much. There's so much. There's so much upkeep on a boat. You know what I mean? And it's not like it's not an easy way to live. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's always been some maintenance and expenses, and it's uncomfortable. And it was okay for me, but I mean, my wife and I, we're not getting any younger. We both have our health issues, so it's a little difficult. It got to the point where it just wasn't, it just wasn't worth it.
So probably not something you would do again.
No, not at this time in my life. No, I mean, I've lived on a boat on and off. Let's see, 20 years all told.
Wow. What prompted the decision to live on a boat in the first place?
Well, I I lived on a boat after the first album went good. I bought a boat and I decided I don't want to get a apartment or a house or, you know, I just bought a boat, and I had that, and then I got rid of that. I sold that, and then I ended up moving out to the desert, and then me and my wife got hooked up, and after my mom passed away, we decided to go get a boat and live on a boat again. And it was great, man. It's a great way. It's a great lifestyle, but it's, me and my wife, we're not in the greatest of health, and it's more difficult for us to deal with the ups and downs of living on a boat. It's a lot of work,
Sure. Well, let's get to the main reason that you're here today. There's a brand new album, Medusa, out now with Tracii Guns. I know that the songs on that record are written by predominantly outside songwriters, mainly, I think, this guy, Alessandro Del Vecchio. And were they? So what I wanted to know is, are these songs written specifically for this Russell Guns project, or are they songs that had just been written for any project that the label puts together? Because they do a lot of these.
I really don't know the answer to that. That's a good question. I really don't know. Um, it I don't know the answer to that. I would like to think it was written especially for me and Tracii. I mean,
Sure.
but who knows? I mean,
Well, I know.
it's a good record. I enjoyed it. I had fun making it, and Tracy's a great guy. It's nice to hear his guitar behind my voice.
I know you guys. This whole record was done completely remote, so you guys weren't in the same room. But was there a lot of communication between you and Tracii when you guys were doing this?
You know what? I haven't talked to Tracii in a few years.
Oh wow,
Isn't that weird? That's
that
crazy,
is
huh?
that is crazy. Well, so
I don't have this number. You don't have my. It was one of those things where you fly on your parts. The guy sent me a demo, um, and I listened to it, and I took my parts and I recorded them from Denver. I recorded them to my engineer in L.A. He recorded them there, and then Tracii did his to. I believe he recorded straight to Italy. I'm not really sure. And then they just whacked it all together, And it's amazing what things do now.
yeah, no kidding. How long in the making was this Russell Guns project? When did you guys first start working on this stuff?
To be honest with you, I don't know. It didn't take, but I mean, once we started working and getting down on it was a couple months, I think. Once all the guitars and stuff were done, the vocals took me a couple months to finish because I've been having some issues with my voice and now it's getting back to normal. But so in the meantime, I had to kind of take it easy and do what my voice would allow. So.
Well, I know that you had to change some things around, given that the label and Alessandro are Italian, so you had to change some things given the dialect difference. But outside of that, did you or Tracii have any input on the actual songs? Like, was there anything that you guys could go in and say, hey, I don't really like this lyric, I don't really like this melody, or did you kind of just have to roll with how the tracks were initially written for the most part?
No, I took it. I mean, everything was pretty good, actually. Of course, there were some things that didn't work, so I just changed them. I mean, it didn't make sense lyrically, so I just changed them around to where it made sense. The lyrics are a little, to me, they're a little 80s. And I guess that's what they wanted. I mean, I'm my own lyrics. Had I written it myself, it would have been a little different. But this is what they wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it. I had a good time making it. It was fun. And now I got another record in the bag.
Sure.
I'm happy with it. It was actually really fun to do.
Has the label Frontiers, have they approached you with any other projects similar to this over the years that you've passed on due to time constraints, disinterest, or whatever? Or was this the first time that they've brought something like
there's
this?
actually where I'm actually signed to do another album with Tracii.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I don't know when that's going to be, I imagine it wouldn't be too soon. That'd be kind of silly.
Sure.
But, kind of see what happens. And right now we're in the middle of working on our own new album, so.
Yeah, I wanted to
see where that's going to come in.
Well, yeah, I know you said that the next Jack Russell's Great White record is about halfway done. And I think you said before you're going to have a bit of a tough time topping your last record. But in this day and age, why worry about putting new music out? Because on one side, you've put out some excellent stuff recently and you still sound great. But on the other side, people are unfortunately not buying records anymore. When they go to a show, they want to hear the hits, they want to hear the songs they know. So what is the motivation behind putting new music out in 2024?
I just think it's something that when you're a musician, you write. It's just something you do. You have to do it. It's one of those things where If I stop creating, I stop. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I could sit and rest on my laurels and just live off of all the old hits. I could do that. But writing music and making music is what I do. You know, granted, I mean, I'm not rushing out every year to make a new record. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's been since 2017 since we put a new album out. So I mean, it's just I don't really have any plans per se. I just kind of take it as it comes. You know, if something happens and the idea sounds good, or I feel like it's time to make a record, and let's do it. If not, we won't. Because you're absolutely right. People don't want to hear new songs. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
want to hear the hits. They don't want to hear a bunch of stuff they don't know. So it's quite the quandary, really. Do you stop and die, or do you just keep rolling on and it's okay? I mean, I don't know what the answer to that is. I mean, I don't feel I don't if I didn't write any more music from now until the end of the planet, I don't know if it would be an issue or not. I mean, I really don't know. I love to create, I love to write songs, but it's just like you say, what's the point?
Yeah.
Nobody's buying the albums. It's pretty sad when it's like being one of those food truck guys and nobody's buying your food, but you go out there every single day.
Sure. Well, yeah, everybody's streaming it these days on Spotify and Apple Music and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah,
we all know they don't
yeah,
pay shit.
yeah. Everything's. I mean, it's a whole different world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still having fun. That's the biggest thing. That's the most important thing. And I still go out and have fun, play shows, sing. I got a great band. I got great opportunities. Working with some great people. It's great. I have a lot of fun, and as long as I can keep making music, I'll do it. You know, so it's not like it's a drag making music.
Sure.
And people. I mean, you write the music for yourself, really. I mean, I do it for me. I mean, and that's the main reason I do this is for myself, not for anybody else, and certainly not for the money. But things are different, but they're different but the same. I mean, you make music because you're a musician, you know, and I enjoy every time I get in the studio. I enjoy every time I write a song. I enjoy every time, um, you know, I work on new stuff, and the hardcore fans, they're the ones that have been sticking around for years, and they want to hear new stuff,
Sure. Yeah.
And you owe them something. I owe them something. I mean, they've been with me for, God, 37, 40 years. At least if nothing else, do it for them.
Well, and I also heard
I mean,
you're working on a cover record too, right? But it's like 80s and 90s pop or something. Did I get that right?
yeah. We got some plans in the works for that. We're thinking about doing some like yeah, 80s, 90s pop. Like, hey, 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 ooh, whoa, don't you forget about me. There's stuff like that, just off the wall stuff that you would never think of me doing, But
Sure.
I think I just want to do a bunch of songs that I really love, and I sing because I love to sing, And whether I wrote the song or somebody else wrote it, if it's a great song, I like to sing it, And if it gives me the opportunity to do it, I'll do it,
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not. It's not like I'm not trying to make a bunch of money. Right now, at this point, I'm recording because I just love to sing. You know.
And so when whenever the cover record comes out, will that be like a Jack Russell solo thing, or will it still be called Jack Russell's Great White?
That I don't know. We haven't really talked about it. It's probably going to be Jack Russell's Great White.
Where does the idea to cover something a little outside the wheelhouse? Where does that come from? I mean, obviously, you just said you like singing those songs, but that's an interesting take. I mean, normally when bands cover songs, a lot of times they're just older rock songs or whatever. So why the decision to do a covers record of outside the box tunes?
I was just sitting there thinking when I was listening to the song, I go, God, I would love to sing that song, man.
Yeah.
Great song. Now every time it comes on the radio, I hear it, I sing along with it. I thought, you know what? Why don't I get a bunch of songs that I really just dig that are like, that aren't necessarily what you would picture being, the branches on my tree, but, it's just something a little different, a little, obscure. And so I wrote a bunch of songs down and I thought, hey, you know what? Let me talk to the label and see what they think. And they're into it. So I'm not sure when we're going to start because I got a lot of stuff going on, but we'll get to it eventually. But right now, I got my book getting ready to come out, and that's almost finished. We were getting ready to go back on the road again here soon. We got these other records that we're doing. I mean, there's so much going on, and there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah, well, I wanted to actually ask you about your book because you recently said that it's just about 3 months or so away from completion. It's being written. I guess it's written by Chip Zdanov's wife, right? That's who's writing it with you.
Yeah. She's an amazing writer and very, very eloquent, and she knows how to tell my story and make it a lot more interesting than I would. Oh yeah, one time then we went out to this place, and then
Sure.
It needs to be good. It needs to be fun to read. Not like, yeah, man. Then one day I was at this guy's house, and then we did some coke, and then you don't want it to be. I'm not a writer, I can write songs, but I'm not a story writer,
Yeah.
So I wanted to get somebody that knew what they were doing to make the story more palatable,
Well, how did Katelyn?
So it's
how did she become involved in the writing of the book?
Actually, I believe it's been so long now. I'm trying to remember. I believe that my guitarist Robbie Lochner turned me on to it. I've known Chip forever, but I didn't know his wife was a writer. And the two of us got put together, and it just clicked. It's just been a brilliant relationship. I mean, we're getting ready to go over some more of it tonight. She'll call me every once in a while and she'll read me some of this stuff, and we'll go over some facts and, oh, that's not right, or that's right, or, we'll just read as we go along so we're not making any mistakes. I don't want to finish the whole thing and then go back and have to, take it off from the top and change stuff. So we'll go like every I don't know, a couple months, and she'll write some more stuff, and then we'll go through it and make sure everything's right. But it's going to be a really good book. It's really well written. I mean, like I like hearing it, and I can kind of like listen to it as if it was somebody else's story, and it's really interesting.
Is there a potential to do an audiobook version with you reading it?
I would love to do that. I just got to figure out how we're going to go about that. I'll talk to Katelyn more about that. That's the writer. But we want to do as many outlets as we can to get people to get their ears on the book.
Well, yeah, I'm excited to read it when it finally comes out because I mean this thing's been in the making for quite a few years, so I think it'll be a good read.
Quite a few years, yeah. It's an interesting story. My life's been very interesting.
Yeah, it absolutely has. And, moving on, it of course has been very well documented that you would like to shake your former bandmate Mark Kendall's hand one more time, apologize for whatever needs apologizing for, reminisce on the legacy that you two built together, all that kind of stuff. It's been forever since you guys spoke, I believe at least over a decade. But I got to ask, is there any part of you that does get maybe just a little bit of joy or humor whenever you see the Great White is having a change of singer?
I don't know if it's joy or not. It's just, it hard act to follow, I guess,
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is I have a very distinct voice, and it's to replicate that is very difficult or impossible, I mean, and I find that, yeah, sure, it's an ego stroke, it makes me feel good, but not in a ha 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 way.
Yeah.
It's just saying, well, man, that's really cool, it's, I'm not like just this easy to replace dude, So it's unfortunate it all went down the way it went down. I really feel bad about it all, and I miss my friends, and I'm sure the last thing on earth is they don't miss me at all, and that's all right. We had ups and downs over the years, and but we accomplished a lot of great stuff. I mean, Mark and I remember the day we first decided to start a band together. We're driving over to the hill in Whittier from West Covina to Whittier, and with my PA strapped on his car, and I was, and driving down Whittier Boulevard. We were just going, yeah, we're gonna do something big, man. We're gonna do something big, and we started the band then, and we. Yeah, it was really exciting, and I knew it was going to go somewhere, and it did, sure enough,
Yeah.
So I'm very pleased. I'm pleased with the great years I had with them,
Well, to that end, though, do you feel that there is any sort of realistic chance of you two reuniting one more time for just one final farewell show, maybe at a big festival like M3 or something like Kix did last fall for the big final show? I mean, I always look at two guys like Axl Rose and Slash. I mean, nasty barbs traded in the press for like 2 decades, and now here they are 8 years or whatever into the reunion. And I feel like if those two guys can do it with how bad it was, I feel like anyone can make amends and reunite at least once.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't be up to me. I mean, I'm just gonna sit on the sidelines on that one. I don't have any ill will towards anybody.
Sure.
That would have to come from the other guys.
Well, I want to move on and talk about your health for a moment, because to me, it really is remarkable how great your singing still is, even after all of these health issues. I mean, it really is incredible.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I'm not what I used to be, but
you looking back, you've said that out of all of the addiction issues that you've had over the years, cigarettes were the hardest thing to kick, which isn't as surprising as it seems to. It seems to be that way for many people, even people that had hardcore drug issues. It's always cigarettes that are the last to go. Why do you think that is? Why are cigarettes so hard to let go of?
Why are cigarettes so hard to let go of? I don't know, man. It's just it is an enigma, man. Everybody I know that's been drug addicts, or alcoholic, cigarettes have always been the hardest thing for them to stop. It's just that they're so addicting. Nicotine is like the most addicting drug, and it's also, I think it's got that whole hand to mouth thing, that kind of whatever it is, what's the words I'm looking for?
Well, it just becomes a force of habit doing that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a mother, it really is. It's so difficult to quit. Finally, I did after years, but it was a real drag. But now that I haven't smoked in years, I feel so much better. I used to have the smoker's cough and, everything. And now it's like, now I can breathe, I don't have all this.
I'm going to be working my way there if I don't stop smoking soon. But you know what's crazy is I know guys.
You gotta quit, man. You
I
gotta quit, dude.
I know, and my uncle hasn't smoked cigarettes in probably 30 years, and he still struggles every time he's around somebody that's smoking or he gets a whiff of it. You know, he's walking and somebody's smoking. I mean, it's like something that never goes away. You're always, I don't know if you ever really move on from them, you know?
Right, right.
So, Jack, one more thing before we wrap this up. There was a documentary that came out a few years ago called The Guest List. It came out a couple years ago about the tragic station fire, which, of course, we don't need to rehash all that. But looking back on that documentary, are you glad that you took part in it? Was it important in helping you find some inner peace and now maybe a little bit of, I don't know if closure is the right word, but feeling a little bit better now that you've took part in this, your story is on the record, it's all out there, and now you can sort of really move on from it now that the documentary is done?
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing initially, it started out with, it was going to be a story about myself and the fire and whatnot, and it kind of morphed into this other thing, you know, where it became more about everything than just about, you know, my own personal trials and tribulations and the people. So yeah, I'm glad I did it. I'm really glad I did it. You know, it got a chance for people to hear, you know, my viewpoint and you know how it was for me, and you know, up to a point. I mean, nothing's ever going to fix that. Nothing's ever going to make it any better. Nothing's ever going to, you know, take the sting out of it or going to dry the tears. You know, it's not going to bring anybody back. You know, but I mean, it was nice to be able to get some of the facts out there that weren't out there. You know, and everybody has their own take on it and their own beliefs of what happens, whose fault it was, if it was anybody's fault, if it was just an accident. It's all up for grabs. You know, you're gonna believe what you want to believe. You know, and for me, I was there. I know what happened. You know, and I'm not gonna, you know, put the blame on anybody. It was just a horrible, horrible tragedy. You know, I wish I could go back, you know, and cancel that show. You know, it's just, I don't know. I don't really have anything more to say about that. I just said it all. It was a horrible, horrible tragedy, and I'll never be over it.
If you were ever up in that area, the Northeast, would you ever make a stop at I think the site where the venue is now like a memorial park. Would you ever go there?
Yeah.
Or have you been there before?
I have not been there, and just out of respect, you know, because I think it would, if people found out about that, it would maybe hurt some people's feelings or maybe kind of taint it for them. I don't know.
Sure.
Because, you know, a lot of people blame me personally, you know, for what happened. And, you know, I was there. I know what happened, and I'm not going to sit there and try to defend myself. And people are going to believe what they want to believe. You know, it was a horrible tragedy. You know, I wish I could go back in time and you know, make some different decisions. You know, I don't know. I don't. It was really. I don't know, man. I don't really have much to say on that. It was just a horrible thing. I cry about it daily. You know, I lost a lot of friends, people that I had no idea were even going to be there. People flew in from LA just to surprise me, and they ended up passing away. And I had no idea they were even there until I saw their faces on TV the day afterwards. I'm like, I didn't know he was even here. My God. Why did he come out to, you know, Rhode Island for? He's from Los Angeles. You know, it's like, it's not like the kind of place you think you go to surprise somebody and see their show. it was just really, really odd. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It was just a really bizarre situation.
Well, let's wrap this up with a little bit more positivity. What
Yeah.
outside of everything that we've covered, what else you got going on as we are now full force into the new year, 2024?
Well, I just got some shows we're doing. I'm getting ready to go out next weekend again, and we're planning to start to ramp up our tour dates, and we're playing as much as we can, as much as we want. And the band's sounding great. It's nice to be back playing again. We had a couple months off, and now it's time to get back on the horse, man.
Well, I'm hoping to see you live at some point. I've never had the chance, and can't see it. It's on the wall.
Really?
It's on the wall opposite me. But there's I'm in Ohio. There was a club in Akron that recently shut down, and I got a sign from inside the venue when they shut down, and it's got your name on it. They had some of their favorite shows made up on this sign. And so I have it, but I never made it out to either show. I think you played there twice. So hopefully at some point soon I'll be able to change that and see the show live.
Yeah, you should, man. The band's really great. It's a great band, fantastic band.
Well, Jack, thank you so much for coming on, man. Really, really appreciate it. Glad we could make this work.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for helping me out.
Yeah, man. Hey, take care and all the best.
All right, man. Let's do it again.